Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ethan's Day Off, episode 10. This episode is with Sideshow the King, also known as Rhett Rhodes online. Now, before we do get into this, I want to mention how we had met. This is one of the longest online friendships I've had, starting back in 2020 during the pandemic, when I found him on Fiverr.com to make a beat for me that I was going to rap over. Ever since then, we've talked, we've collaborated on many projects, and we've also had our ups and downs, which will be in the podcast discussion. Behind me, you can hear some songs that he's made alongside an exclusive on Total Carnage, his new album that is out now and is in the links below. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy my conversation with Sideshow the King. Yeah, welcome everybody to Ethan's Day Off. This is episode 10 here. Thank you for joining me. Today we have, first of all, it's episode 10. My podcast didn't die. That means I'm dedicated to this whole thing, at least a little bit. So I'll give myself a pat on the back. But enough about me. Today we got the one and only Sideshow the King, Rhett Rhodes.
Yes.
An artist that I've known since 2020 from Alva, Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
Rhett, first of all, do you want me to refer to you as, in like titles and all that for this, as Sideshow or Rhett Rhodes? What would you prefer?
That is completely up to you.
Up to you?
It really is up to you. Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to be honest. I can't really complain.
Okay.
I'm used to Rhett.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Sideshow's my artist name, but yeah, I hear Rhett more often.
Gotcha. Yeah. First of all, Oklahoma, right? A lot of people have not been to like Middle America, or like Wyoming, Montana, Oklahoma, that sort of thing. It's a little bit different than like New York City, Ohio, California, that sort of thing on the coast. To people that have not been there before, how would you describe being in Oklahoma there?
Completely dead everywhere you go. I'm not even kidding. I think OKC, like Oklahoma City, might be the only place in Oklahoma that you truly will find a nightlife or exciting people. Anywhere else, it's mostly like just one giant trailer park, including Alva. I'm not even making a joke right there. I think anybody who has been to Oklahoma could probably agree with me. That's like, it's got its cool little things, yeah, like some historical details. We got a lot of cool tourist things if you want to drive through, Route 66, stuff like that. We got cool things like that, but anywhere else is just dead. And the people are really stingy, I gotta say. Because I've been to other states, and people have been way nicer, like Colorado. People were just nice to me every time I talked to them. I was like, In Oklahoma, they'd be like, Not even joking. They literally just make that noise, Just probably walk past you and do that. I'd be like, hey, sir. Not making that up, dude. That's literally like the typical old Oklahoma man. That was what my grandpa was like. Hey, grandpa.
Really?
They're weird. People are weird here. And anyone who's been here can agree with me. That's the best I can describe it. I'm not even making that up. Not making that up.
So you go into a restaurant. It's like, hi, can I take your order?
Not making that up.
And
that was at McDonald's like literally yesterday. And McDonald's is a big staple here in Oklahoma. It's like the worst fast food you can think of, and that's the only one you got. Oklahoma, every single city. You don't have a Brahms here. I don't have a Brahms in Alva. I have no good actual cool restaurants or fast food restaurants. I have like old classic terrible fast food restaurants like Sonic and McDonald's mostly, and Pizza Hut. Everyone's got a Pizza Hut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, not everyone, because I think a lot of them, Pizza Hut's not as cool anymore. But we have one because we're like 20 years behind everybody else. Not joking. I have to continue saying I'm not joking and not kidding, because you probably think I am. And it's like, if Ethan was ever here, he'd know. He'd listen back to this podcast and he'd go, oh, Rhett was right.
Probably. I mean, the next thing I think of is Napoleon Dynamite, because Preston, Idaho. It just seems like that's not grossly inaccurate with the boots that he was wearing and the fashion at the time. It's like, it's so it's so radically different in terms of like the East Coast or West Coast. It's just kind of like it's 20 years behind, as you said.
Yes. Everything in that movie was like outdated, even for its time. But I have a feeling like even if you went there to this day, it would be the same. I'm not even joking. Does it not kind of seem that way? Like for that movie?
It doesn't seem, it's not grossly inaccurate from what I hear. So,
I mean, I've never been there. But I'm just saying, if I ever went there, I'd probably be like, oh wow, it's probably this. I don't know. It looks exactly the same. I just imagine it would, but that's just me.
yeah, I saw a lot of interviews of like people that were like, "That's literally us." Like that movie is, I'm in this picture and I don't like it type thing.
Yeah.
So I take the locals' opinion, and I don't know. It sounds cool. I'd love to visit Preston, Idaho. I think it's
I would too.
Southeast
Sounds fun,
as well.
right?
I think it's southeast.
Yeah. I'm not really sure with. I'm not great with the map. You know that. I'm terrible with geography.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So I did want to mention too, because this is going to be released a couple days after your album comes out, Total Carnage. What is Total Carnage? What is this? What does this album mean to you?
Okay, yeah. Total Carnage has like huge, meaning to me in like many ways, because the title and that's the samples. Like if you hear like It Is or Gun Just Went or anything like that, and you'll hear like Total Carnage. That, do you know what that's from?
As a video game, right?
Yes, but did you ever play it?
No, I've not.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so they made this version for PS2 like way back in the day called like Midway Arcade Classics or something like that. Number 2. It's like volume 2. And I think it was the only M-rated one, and I was like, as a kid, I was like, oh, I gotta get that. I had like Mortal Kombat 2, all these old arcade games, and then like there was a multiplayer one, like, well, not a multiplayer, like a co-op one. You could play with like 2-player, and it was called Total Carnage, and it was super graphic, and it had the craziest like demon monster things in it. And it was sort of a parody of like, I don't know if I can get away with saying this in this podcast, but it's sort of like a parody of like Adolf Hitler, like sort of makes fun of like the Nazis in a way. So like there's like these super overly American men, they're muscular with guns, and those are like your 2 main players, and it's funny. It's really just like a super comedical parody video game that's violent. It was hilarious. So that meant a lot to me as a kid, just because it was so obscure to me. I was like, no one else knew what that was at school. Like, dude, I played this game with my brothers, and they're like, no, you didn't. Like, because the internet wasn't like a thing. Like, well, it was, but not every little kid like back in like 2004 was like, I'm gonna go home, get on the computer, and I'm gonna search that up. Like, they just probably forgot by the end of the day that I was talking about that. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, but anyway, I'm just rambling. But that game meant a lot to me just because I'd play it all the time, and yeah, it was just like, I have to put that sample in there, and I bet I could find the OST. And of course, that was easy. It was 1 click away on YouTube. So I found the OST and then straight downloaded all those samples. Like, there's a lot of them I did. So if you hear the album, there's more than just the Total Carnage. There will be one that says like, if you can find it anywhere, it should be on there. In the album, it says like, I'll buy you for $1. I put an Instagram caption. One of my posts does that, so that's a little Easter egg. But yeah, there's a couple of little things that they scream out in that game. There's a super 8-bit weird little video game voices. I was like, okay, I gotta put that in, because Bleh was sort of like that with that dumb little video. It's like anything from that video, slap in Bleh, and it'll be sort of a kind of a concept, not really though. Everything will be sort of themed with that. So yeah. And yeah, so Total Carnage was basically like, I want to make Bleh, but I want to make it with different samples, and I want to make it a little more hardcore with heavier bass on just about every song. And there's a song, like my favorite song. My bad, I'm talking a lot, so I'm getting all winded, bro. But no, my favorite song.
You're good.
My favorite song is Vomit. Okay, so I know not everyone likes that song, because on 12/17 it was more like a demo. It was more like an unmixed, unmastered, and some of the lyrics weren't even right. Like, I wouldn't even re-record it. I was just so lazy. I would just record something. If I messed it up, then I'd slap that in, and it was whatever. But this version is like, I revisited it, I re-recorded everything, got like every lyric right, so nothing's messed up. Like, one part in particular is in the original 1217 version, I say something like, "What's with music if you only make it losers or whine or mumble up some shit about drug use and abusers," or something like that. Sorry for cursing. I don't know, I should have asked about that. Can you bleep that?
No, you're good. You're good.
My bad. I'm gonna try not to say too many bad words, but that's all my lyrics are, so that sucks. But
Yeah, I do want to talk about that too, because I know we had conversation about just like the content of your lyrics as well, and I think for a lot of the people that listen to like the list, the email list as well, they're gonna be a little taken aback by some of the rawness that you do have. But to a degree, it's like part of what I appreciate about you, because when it is balanced and you use it the right way, it makes some of the most excellent stuff.
I would have to agree with you there. Yeah, I'm a very high energy person. Anyone who's going to listen back, this is going to be your most annoying podcast episode. And I'm very confident, and I'm glad to say that, I'm going to be the one. If anyone's going to go like, "Oh, dude, there was one episode of this guy's podcast that was just so annoying. This guy wouldn't shut up. This one rapper wouldn't shut up." And it's going to be episode 10, Sideshow the King, Rhett Rhodes. It's going to be me. So, alright, cool. But yeah, no. So what was your question, though? What were we talking about?
Oh, no, it's just like, so oh boy. I'm at a library right now for everybody listening. And, yeah, these are, they're gonna, I don't know who's gonna be yapping more, the kids or Rhett Rhodes in this episode.
Yeah, true.
So, but, I guess I just wanted to ask, like, cause even some of the things that you have made, I mean, some of the album covers you've used, some of the, and I won't really mention it on podcasts, but some of them are very, good Lord. Ow. This kid is having a temper tantrum, which is one of the titles of your songs.
Yes.
But some of the stuff that like you have made has been shocking. Like stuff that's like, how is this allowed? I mean, you used one of the things I did want to ask, because our culture is different, is the R word, which it's banished in my vocabulary, but it's something that you use quite a bit, even in titles and songs and stuff like that. What does that mean to you? What does that word mean, I guess, from a cultural perspective where you're at?
Okay, so that word is a word I'm not proud of using, and I want to point that out. But I have used it, of course. Obviously, I'm not going to lie. It's in my music a lot. It's in my titles, too. But yeah, so that word is something that... Okay, so when I grew up, obviously here in Oklahoma, Alva, Oklahoma, it's a small town. We had these neighborhood kids. Oh, well, I grew up in school, as well. Like, just any kid in school. Everyone said that word, like, just growing up. And I feel like I said, this town is 20 years behind. So everyone around here is still okay with that word. I'm not joking. So if I could just literally walk around and I could say that word to like any one of my coworkers, and I know for a fact that I wouldn't expect to be like fired or something. You know what I mean? But when it comes to music and stuff, yes, I think a lot of the times in the past, there were a lot of times where I did not consider that people thought of that word as like that terrible. And that's the crazy thing. Like, I felt like I was 20 years behind too. I had a huge conversation with Hype Supremo, Hayden, as you know, who's another rapper from Oklahoma. He had that conversation with me, like, was probably one of the first people, because I put out a song that had a really bad title, the Howard Stern sample, as you know. And I lost a couple of cool followers because of that, like some people that were pretty cool. And I was like, oh no. And then they really wouldn't talk to me anymore. So I was like, oh no. So Yeah. I'm really just not proud of that song title in particular, but it's already kind of there, so I left it. But yeah. So how do I feel on that word? I feel like I'm just rambling, but yeah. So how do I just
No,
feel like that
I
word?
think you pretty much covered it.
Right. I feel like that word is just. I had no idea that a lot of people were actually that affected by that word. I'm not even joking, because like I said, just me and my brother and friends, like just in casual conversation would say that word, and then time went on, and then like with music and stuff, it feels like, oh, okay, well, if I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be myself. So then I was being myself. Then I realized, obviously, I had to get taught, because I did not know. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people think they just know everything in life. That's one of those things that I just was really dumb on, very very dumb on. Like, I didn't really understand that word was so impactful for a lot of people. Like, it just hurts. Like, it's not a great word to say. It's not a great word to call people. Yeah, so that's why in Total Carnage, I am very confident by saying that word is limited, and it's actually, it's already in that song, Vomit, but it's not really like, it's more of like a joke in that song. You know what I mean? Because if you ever heard like 1217 and stuff, like, it's already in that song, and that's just not a lyric I was going to change. But that song obviously is re-recorded and remastered and stuff for this new album. And that word was just already on there. So that word is in that song, but it's only because it was already on that song, and I just didn't want to change it. Because I just thought the song in general was such a good, it's more of a personal song too. It wasn't like a funny one. Like, this is more of like a funny track, I'm gonna get at you, stuff like that. It's more of like a personal, like, you could kind of tell I was struggling at that time, and I think that's why it's one of my favorites, is because, yeah, it just shows a lot. But there's a person named Luscious Duncan, who's sort of a newer person I started working with. He uses that word, but he's like, in his verse on this song called "F.U.," which is, it's not why it's the last song on the album, but it's the last song on the album just because it curses so much with the sample that's used. Obviously, the title is "F.U.," so there's a sample I use where I just sort of repeat this like video game. I don't even know where it came from. It sounds like San Andreas, but I swear to God, I know it's like a video game pack of samples. I swear, and I just took that one. And it was just like, F you. But he was actually saying it. Like, F you, F you, F you. It just repeats. And that's the sample that's used, so it just curses so much. So I'm like, okay, that's the last song. And then every other song that's sort of more clean is going to be more towards the top. So that's why when you listen to the album, it'll go from, like, kind of cleaner to, like, the more offensive stuff that's sort of, I don't care if people skip. You know what I mean? Like, some of the stuff that might be a little hard to listen to. And the more, unique and cooler stuff that people will be like, oh, this one's kind of a vibe. That stuff's all at the top, like 1 through 7 type stuff. But yeah, so I do apologize for offending people with that word in the past, because I was using it, in many different ways that I had no idea was actually wrong. And I had to be told by many people, including close friends, that was not acceptable, and then had to be taught. So yes, that's a lesson for people out there. You can be taught at any point in time.
With teaching too, I mean, I know I talked with you a little bit about some of your previous work as well. You sent me a lot of your previous work from 2016, 2017 in a pack a couple years ago, and it was interesting to see your progression over time. When did you start making music, and when did things start to get serious for your moniker for Sideshow the King?
Gotcha. So I'm just such a weird person, dude. You're gonna listen back to this podcast, you're gonna hate it. But to answer that question, I started making music in probably August of 2014, August or September 2014. So that was like the beginning of my sophomore year in high school, because my brother Rylan said, he just made some kind of joke, and he was doing some kind of goofy voice, and he was like, oh dude, if you're gonna freestyle with that goofy voice, or because I started doing it too, and he was like, if you're gonna freestyle with that goofy voice, he's like, you should probably record it or something. And he went to work. He was a junior, and he just had work after school. He went to work after school, and I was home just bored as hell. Everyone was gone. I was home alone. And yeah, I started like putting rap beats from like YouTube into Audacity because like I had to download that. I didn't even know what anything was. I had no idea how to record and had to figure out how to like plug in headphones. So I was like, how do you like record without hearing the beat in the background? Oh, headphones, duh. Like literally, it was like 16 years old, really really dumb. Yeah. So no, that was 2014, and I put this song together. Which my brother actually still has all that old stuff. It's very terrible quality and embarrassing. We wouldn't mix anything though, so that's how we started. And we just started to like, I said that weird. We just started to like just put things together like that for a couple of years, like secretly, from 2014 to 2017. So 3 whole years of that. And then friend from school, aka Hype Supremo, just messaged me one day because we started bonding over Odd Future, because I had all these Odd Future CDs and Tyler the Creator CDs and stuff. And I had gotten the new, no, it wasn't the new one. I don't even remember what even happened, but he just like brought it up to me because I gave him some kind of CD, and he was like, and this is even in 2017, we're passing around CDs, like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's 2017. People are streaming by this point. But so yeah, he was like, have you ever thought about making rap beats? And I was like, I've already been doing that, because at this point I already had like FL and stuff. So I just sent him like a big folder of like 25 beats that I was already using for myself and my brother. And then he kind of thought that I was making all those for him. And then he was like, oh dude, I thought all these were for me. So he started writing all these raps on these beats and putting things together. And then I was like, oh no, I just got all these other beats too, so I don't actually care. At this time I had no job, so I was literally on the computer. If I wasn't at school, I was on the computer 24/7, you know, just making beats and watching movies and shit like that. So yeah, we would, whatever. I just sent him like this folder of beats, and that's how it kind of started with the public, you know what I mean? Because I was doing it privately for so long. So we just decided to make it kind of public, I guess. And Hayden was like, or excuse me, Hype Supremo was like, I'm just kind of like thinking back and like digging in the vault right here, trying to like think back, like how was this time? But because I remember exactly how it all happened, but it's all like, it's just all scrambled. So either way, long story short, that's really what it was like. It was secret for 3 years. It was like for fun. My brothers had like subwoofers in their trucks and stuff, just because they were nerds and stuff. So they would like modify their trucks any way they could and put subs in there, just listen to the dumbest music possible. So I would make my beats and then go out and play them in the truck just to like hear the bass and then know that I was like putting my bass too loud or putting it too quiet and things like that. So yeah, that's really just how it started. Was just a big secret for 3 years, and then Hype Supremo came out of the woodworks and wanted to make music, and boom, everyone in school knew, oh, you can rap, and yeah, of course it was like you got ridiculed and stuff like around school, because I was a senior, so of course you got ridiculed a little bit, but most people were okay with it. Like just everyone was pretty much cool about it and wanted to hear things like, oh, do you have a new thing, blah blah blah, I want to hear. So it was just kind of fun, so we just kept going. Like I just never stopped. I was like, well, this is probably going to be a permanent hobby for the rest of my life. And I think it is. So that's to answer your question in the longest way possible.
There you go. As he takes a sip of his orange Fanta.
100%. One of the best sodas.
That's good. One of the best sodas? What's the worst? What's the one that you like will not drink?
Oh, the worst soda is like Big Red.
Big Red? Really?
Can't do Big Red. It's like bubblegum flavored to me. I don't like it.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Like I think that you would be like, I thought you'd be in like the Big Red cult since you're in Oklahoma there, man.
Dude, exactly.
Do they have that like just like all over the place?
Yes. Especially here in Oklahoma, I feel like Big Red's like a very popular soda. Like anytime someone finds it, they're like, oh, it's a Big Red, I gotta get that. Me, I'm like, nah. I don't want to eat a burger and drink a bubble gum. Not right now. Is it not? Like, is that not bubblegum flavored to you?
Well, the closest thing I probably have had is Red Pop to, like, Faygo Red Pop. So
Faygo's great.
I can only imagine. Faygo, I mean, yeah, it's probably better, but I have to actually go into deeper into the South or into, like, Middle America, go find a Big Red to tell you.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I don't know.
So,
I'm just never a fan.
So the thing I do want to mention about your music too is that, like, for Blah, for example, I mean, I listen to it so much because it's so interesting in the way that you mix things and the way that you have all of these effects that go from left to right. You're not very it's not as linear as someone just starting out. It was more glitchy, it was hyper pop, but it was also in your own twist that makes it sound like just a timepiece. What is, like, your current workflow when you're making a song? What thoughts go into it, and how long would you say, like, some songs in, like, Blah would take?
My bad. But yeah, I had to clear my throat there. I'd say yeah, so the process is very, I don't know. I think the process it's probably just like everybody else's, except, I don't know. I think it's different, yeah, I don't know. Because my brother, he makes things because he started making beats this year. And the way he was making them, because he was like, oh, come over and put some stuff together. He likes to, like, use a lot of guitar and stuff. With, like, MIDI plugins and whatever. I don't even have all that. Like, all those special MIDI chords and shit for, like, guitars. I don't have that. But he has that. So he's like, oh, come over and just check out these beats I have. And the way he was piecing them together was just not how I was piecing them together. Everything I was doing was, like, so much more compact. While his just felt more loose. You know what I mean? I don't really, if that even makes any damn sense. Or, excuse me, if that makes any sense at all. Trying not to curse. I'm the weirdest person in the world. This is a terrible look for me. People aren't going to want to listen to my music after this. People are going to be like, nah, I don't want to listen to that guy's music. I think the R-word
question definitely was not a great way to start it. I probably should ask you more about yourself first. That's my bad.
No, you're good. It was a very good question. I mean, it gave me a chance to actually apologize for the past there a little bit, because I don't really say that much in music anymore, and I don't even really say that much in, like, life anymore. But back to the question that you asked. I get into, so I make beats in FL. So I get into FL, and so I'll start with, like, drums, kicks, snares, hi-hats. I'd make the drums first, obviously. After I get that and I find a good BPM, whatever, and I always start with a random BPM. I never start with, like, oh, I have a BPM in mind. I will put the drums first, and then I'm like, this would sound way better 90 BPM, or maybe I'll half-time it and go all the way up to, like, I don't know, 130, 140, somewhere up there, just to make more of, like, a trappier, more hyperpop kind of sound. Because I do get up there with my BPMs. It's goofy how high I go. But, yeah, my bad. I got people out there, so I don't know if you can hear all that.
You're chilling.
But, yeah. Yeah, so I start with the drums, and then I will find, like, so I've been working a lot with samples. Total Carnage was, like, I just wanted to get goofy, crazy samples. I would dig through the weirdest things. A lot of movies, like old movies, like, what is it called? High Sierra, and, like, old Humphrey Bogart movies, like Treasure of Sierra Madre. Like the Gun Just Went sample. I think that was either from High Sierra or Key Largo. I am not quite sure, but one of those old movies. But, so I'd find samples from there, like Bongo Lady. I just gotta tell everyone real quick about Bongo Lady from Total Carnage. If you hear it, I'm very sorry. If your ears might enjoy a lady going, I don't even want to make the sound. But she is this lady who's just basically kind of yelling and screeching while she's playing the bongos, and then I put some kind of old boom bap drums on it, because that's kind of Hype Supremo's style, and I was like, I want to match his a little bit. So yeah, apologies to everybody on that one if it annoys you, but it's one of my favorite songs because it's so great. It's just so great the way she sounds. It's funny, but that's from a movie as well, which I think was from. My bad, I moved that thing. You can cut that though. Did you hear that?
No, you're good. Not on here, but I will say now that you said that, I'm gonna make that one of the songs of the intro where I introduce you, so people are gonna hear it firsthand.
Bongo Lady. Oh my goodness, it's just this crazy, goofy kind of sample, and that's like exactly what I wanted was that kind of stuff. So yeah, to answer your question in another little short form, just crazy samples and heavy drums was just the whole concept of this album. So I'd go into the DAW, the digital workspace there, FL Studio, and make the craziest shit imaginable. I sound like the worst kind of nerd on here. That's only because I'm kind of nervous. I've never done this before. Apologies, everybody.
No, you're good. You're good. I do want to talk too about, because we talked about ego in the perspective of music, and I think you and I have shifted in very different forms. Me, now I'm just doing these podcasts, doing the blogs, doing the 30-second videos just for fun, and like it was the same with you where you thought it was kind of like a business where it was your world, and it really sucked you into. It was almost like an addiction in a sense because you focused on it so much that there were so many things that were neglected. Me as well. But what is like your perspective now with music in your life? Like, what does it do? How does it serve you?
You mean like music in general?
Yeah.
Wait, say your question again. I am the dumbest person.
Yeah, so you're good. So it's how does music serve you now that we have gone to another like phase of our lives where it's not as constricting to our perspectives. We're not as attached to it as much.
Right, yeah. I see it more as like a fun, like back then it was obviously a hobby, but like you just said, it definitely sucked me in to where, I would get on Spotify every day, check my numbers. You know, it was like this weird thing that was like destroying me if I didn't get the correct number. You know what I mean? If it wasn't high, this new song didn't get the numbers that I thought it would, and then I'd kind of be like depressed all day. So I like to think like those artist pages and things, you know what I mean? Those are evil. That's really all those are. They're evil because they just want you to get on there and be like, oh, I didn't get the numbers I wanted. You know, I didn't get the followers I thought I'd get and things like that. So yeah, for a while there, that was controlling me for like years, dude. Like the longest time. I couldn't even get on Instagram without making a scene on like my story. I'd post the most erratic things on my story, as you know, because you've been around for a little bit, so you've seen the most erratic side of me, actually. So you're one of those few rare people. Not everyone has seen that like really terrible side of me, like in the DMs, like stuff like that. Like this me just being manic, crazy, which, you know, I'm not shy talking about because obviously I'm getting treatment for all that. So, no, but for a while
yeah, sure, if you want to talk about that.
Right. Yeah. It made it worse. Like, all that music stuff just made it so much worse because I was, like, just, like, XIX, all these people I looked up to, little, you know, not that I looked up to him too much, but he had some good songs I liked, like Lil Darky and the Spider Gang people. I was like, I just want to be so much like them. I was like, dude, I just want to make the numbers they got. I want to make the music they have. And so I tried, and then, but I tried a little too hard, you know what I mean? To where, yeah, it made me the worst person I think I ever could have been. So now when I make music or, you know, whatever, it's like I can almost just enjoy it, which is the greatest thing. It's like I enjoy every aspect. I love putting these drums together. I loved finding that sample, you know what I mean? So yeah, music these days is more freeing. It's more of like a free thing. It's more of an art form. It's less of like I have to do this. It's more of like I want to do this, and I want people to hear this and go, wow, this was a great song. Like, I don't want people to hear things and be like, okay, no, that one sucked. Because for a while there, a lot of those songs sucked for like 2 years straight. I'd have to say 2022 and 2023 were like really hard years for me in general, like mentally. So every song, well, not every song, but almost every song was just really bad, poorly mixed, you know. So
yeah, for people that don't know, I mean, there was a feud that we had about a year ago that had really put a hiatus on our communications for a couple months, about 8-9 months or so, and I really had to think about where I was in music, where we put our priorities on life, and it made me even step back too, and really think about how serious this was. How serious should we take these sorts of things? And it was just a maturity moment for me, and I think a maturity moment for you in making these mistakes and getting, not even mistakes too, because you also had some things going on. You had some things to work out.
A lot.
For anybody, like, yeah. Do you want to talk about that a little bit as well? I don't know how public you have made it, but
right now I'll keep it brief because I just want people. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted people to kind of know, because it sort of shows in my music a little bit. I'd have to say, like that manic side of me, that kind of little bit of crazier side. But in the music, it's more of definitely a joke. Like, I definitely will never hurt anybody in my life because I never have been a violent person. I've never struck anybody. I've never been like a person who has ever actually wanted to do that. You know what I mean? I've never actually really wanted to hurt somebody. So when I do say that stuff in the music, it's more of like a joke, kind of like just a hard line. Like, wow, this line would go so hard. You know, not that I actually care. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not trying to make people think anything of me. I'm just literally like kind of having fun. Just wanted to write a fun line. You know, not that it's serious at all. So although some stuff in my music is serious, a lot of it is jokes, and that is a big thing to point out with my music in general. But yeah, for a while there, I'd say the music, my personality, my identity, my ego, all my dreams, everything was like scrambled. Nothing was on a correct path. Everything was getting mixed together. All my emotions were mixed together. Everything was becoming very, very vivid, and I'm not joking. Like, I'd wake up and it would just be like just vivid thoughts all the time. Like, I just would barely even know where I was, and I'd just be like, I gotta focus on music. Or there was a phase I went through with like movies. I want to make movies, so, which I still do, but not as like badly, you know. I want to take time and get there. So yeah, it was just all that stuff was getting mixed together in my brain and making me like the worst person possible. And sort of, yeah, you know, I was diagnosed bipolar earlier this year. So for our feud, that kind of started because, how did that start? That's crazy. How did that start?
Montezuma.
Right. Yeah. Because, oh my God, yeah, you literally just put a crown right on your album art, or your single art. And for me, in my mental state at that time, which was not healthy, I see a crown and I instantly think, Ethan's trying to copy me. Dun dun dun. That was not the case. But my brain thought that was the case because kind of dumb, a little immature all the time. So yeah, I had a bit of a manic meltdown for that one. I saw that, and that's crazy because, so during all this, when all that was going on, I saw the album art, I freaked out, started sending you very terrible, hateful DMs, like literally the worst stuff imaginable. Mm-hmm. At that time, I was also annoying the hell out of Hive Supremo, Hayden, by like, my bad, it's this Fanta, dude. It's terrible, I shouldn't have drank it. But during that whole time, during that time, I was just like sending him message after message after message, kind of like I was doing with you, except you weren't like replying, which I don't blame you. I wouldn't have replied either. You know, oh God, that was horrible, dude. Looking back, that was terrible. But I was doing the same thing with him, except I wasn't being rude to him. I was trying to like, hey, dude, Ethan's stealing my stuff. Ethan's trying to get at me. I swear to God, he's trying to. I swear, he's trying to get at me. Like, I was this weird, paranoid freak out. Huge manic meltdown. And the whole time, like, Hayden, Hype Supremo, was like, I don't think so. Like, he literally didn't think so. He's like, it's just a crown. Like, you know, the song is about, you know, like a king, right? So, like, it sort of has nothing to do with you. But I was making it about me. You see how I was doing that? Like, I was like, everything's about me. It's about me. It's about me. It's about me. Oh my God, dude, that was so unhealthy. Oh my God. Like, I just look back and I'm just, I'm more than embarrassed. It's like I almost just shut down while I think about that. It just makes me super nervous to talk about. Which I sound nervous this whole interview. I probably sound shaky and stuff because I am. I run out of breath.
It's interesting to deliberate these sorts of things and know that other people will be listening too. But I mean, I think it's good as well just to show that development, you know, to see the story behind you. It's like people can see on this episode that you do not sound like the person that you were a year ago. You sound completely different from that person.
Very true.
For people that are listening to, like, Montezuma was a song I made that had a crown on the front. It was a king that was part of this Mexico City before Hernan Cortez took over, and that's when he saw that similarity with his name Sideshow the King, and really when he was in that manic phase, as he says, really took it to heart.
Oh yeah, dude.
But I'm really.
Ooh, I was horrible. I was just basically, I was like, how can I take him down? You know what I mean? And that's not ever what anyone out there that ever thinks that way. Okay, if you ever think that there's something about you, you think like, that might be about me. I want to let everyone out there know it's most likely not. It's all in your head. I swear to God. So if you have those thoughts where you're like, I have to check my music every day. I have to check these numbers. I have to make sure that this person's talking to me the way I want to talk to them to. He didn't reply to me the way he replied to that person. Okay, well then I'm going to be mad at this person for the rest of the week. Those aren't healthy thoughts. And that's exactly what I was doing, as you know. Like with you, you wouldn't reply to me in a certain way that I wanted you to in direct message. So I freaked out, and I'm like, dude, you're not talking to me the way like this person would or Hayden would talk to me, you know? And it's like, why was I expecting that? Was the weird thing. I still can't understand it. Like, now that I've gotten treatment and I've gotten better, I almost can't understand why I wanted to make everything about me, or why, you know what I mean? It's like, at the end of the day, nobody cares like the way I thought that they were. But I was making it a bigger deal than it needed to be. You know what I mean? Now that I'm healthier and I'm just happier and having fun, I almost just can't understand why I was so angry. You know what I mean? So once again, I apologize to you, Ethan. I want to say that in the podcast. I'm sorry. I'm glad we're friends again. I'm glad we could be cool, talk like this. You can see the weird, nervous Rhett, and then hear him ramble like an idiot for however long we've been doing this. I don't know. But yes, I'm sorry. And I'm glad you're talking to me again. I don't know. That was great. When you ever like messaged me that one day, I was like, oh, it's Ethan. Thank God. I was relieved. I was like, thank God he actually doesn't hate me for the rest of his life, because I thought you were going to.
Yeah, I just knew that you needed time to deal with that, and I didn't take it personally. What you said is interesting too, about like how a lot of people don't care about like now you don't care as much about those sorts of things because you have a fresh perspective. I remember there's a popular artist, his name is Baby No Money, he works with Young Gravy, and a lot of other like internet rappers, but he was talking, and he's awesome. I love some of his old songs too, but
he's got great music.
He does, and he said something in a podcast that like really confused a lot of people, but he said nothing matters in the way that you think it does. Like nothing. I mean, it's like there's, and when he was asked what he meant by that in the perspective of music making in life, he's like, there's, you know, the family, there's people that you love. Literally everything else does not matter in the way that you believe it. And it kind of reminds me of what you had said, like now the music, like you're going to release an album and you're not going to, you know, put it on your story and have everybody listen to it and try to make Instagram posts with relatable memes to say, hey, by the way, listen to my new album.
Yeah, share this thing,
it's like
everybody.
Now,
like
yeah,
you can't expect
you
people to
realize
share
now,
it. Yeah, you can't expect people to share it and instantly click on it and listen. Okay, so I share an album, right? I can't expect everyone at that minute at 12 a.m. that night when the album comes out. Okay, August 3rd. I'm not going to expect you. I'm not going to expect Garrett. I'm not going to expect Hype Supremo. I'm not going to expect any of these people to just instantly hop on and like listen to every single song like I used to. I used to expect like, oh, Bled just came out. Everyone needs to drop what they're doing and listen to that. I wasn't even thinking about this person has a job. This person has a family. Okay, this person's on vacation. Like, I just expected everyone to drop what they're doing and listen to my music. So like, yeah, exactly like what his quote was, like, nothing matters how you expect it to, you know what I mean? Like, whatever the quote was, however, I don't know. But yeah, I knew what you're saying. Everyone gets what I'm saying. But yeah, no, I 100%, that is a true quote, because when I put out Gun Just Went in the music video, yes, I had some kind of expectation, like, you know, I really hope that people like this and click on it and listen, whatever, blah, blah. But then I started feeling bad whenever, you know, I never said any of that to anybody. I just kept that to myself, like, man, I really hope people listen to this. But I actually started feeling bad when people really were, and like messaging me like, oh, this is a great song, or that was an interesting video for that song, for like Gun Just Went. So to me it was almost kind of overwhelming, and you know what I mean, I don't really like being overwhelmed, like, so I'm trying to keep this interview the least overwhelming, and I don't mind anything we've talked about. I think I'm very comfortable talking about like my manic episodes and mental health and our feud and things like that. I think honesty is the best way to remain healthy and continue to grow. I think if you continue lying to people and lying to yourself, you're just going to be this hermit, this old crab the rest of your life. It's going to suck. So honesty is key.
Absolutely. So after this, with Total Carnage, after this, what is the plan for Sideshow the King? What does the next 1, 2, 3 years look like?
Just casual, making music and having fun. You know what I mean? I can make a song with you. I can make an album with you. I can make a song with Garrett. I could make a album with Hype Supremo. I just think it's like free, and I want to work with new artists too. And I want to start working with people in person, because I feel like that's how music needs to be made. I get that it's cool to do things digitally, you know, online, over the email, over the phone, things like that. But to me, it's just more fun, and it means a lot more. It's more of a, you know, the song could even be way better if everyone was in that space. You know, not necessarily a professional studio, it could be in the house, whatever. Just to be in that space and be like, okay, step up to the microphone. Okay, who wrote that? You know, get everyone involved and just have a big, fun studio session. Instead of being like, okay, I recorded this part in my house alone, and now you're over there in a different state in your house alone. Record your part. I think it would be way better in stuff like that to work in person and get to know more people face to face and have fun and have cool studio sessions and things like that. So that's what I want to do, is work with people more in person and just have casual fun. Like, I'm not going to ever look at anything I put out in the future as like, this is my stepping stone, this is my magnum opus. You know, I'm not going to look at, because that's kind of how I looked at Blah in Super Dark Times and things like that, was everything was personal, so I took everything personal. But from here on out, I think you can't really do that with music. You can't always take it personal, ever. You know, even if you're working with an artist, you know, like Tyler the Creator and A$AP Rocky would, you know, they worked together obviously quite a while. They did a tour, you know, had some cool moments and shit. But he said he made a song, I think it was Corso or something, from like Call Me When You Get Lost, or Call Me If You Get Lost. He made Corso or something for like him and A$AP Rocky or something. He's told the story on stage, but A$AP Rocky ghosted him for like, I don't know how many months. But Tyler didn't take it personally. Like, oh, fuck A$AP Rocky. You know what I mean? So I always look at that as like some kind of inspiration. Like, obviously him and Rocky worked after that. Have talked after that. But for that time being, he focused on himself. He focused on his music. It didn't slow him down and say, okay, I'm not going to make this song because I had that open part right there for A$AP and he's not going to do it. He didn't take it personally. He just still put out the song. He didn't put anyone else on it, you know, just him and DJ Drama. So it was like, I think that's how it's got to be done. You can't always take things personally in music, in any art form. If you're going to make art, just make the damn art. I don't think you should ever make the art and be like, this is for you. You know what I mean? Like, this is for this person. This is for this person. No, it should be for yourself, you know? That's how art should be. So I see that for music, movies, writing novels, blogs, podcasts, you know? Anything could be. The guy behind you just totally threw me off. I don't know why. Did you see that old dude? Some old dude in the library just creeped up and I was like looking at him like, what the fuck? But, oh my bad. Cut that part. I just said the F word. Gonna have to bleep that. I hope you edit these. Do you edit these?
No.
I hope you do. I hope you actually edit these podcasts.
You're good. It happens.
But anyway, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but yeah, I just don't think you should ever take things personally if you're gonna make art. If you make art, just make the art, you know? Make it. Don't care what people think.
What would you do if you had a time machine?
What would I do if I had a time machine? Oh gosh, that would be amazing if I had a time machine, because I would go back and probably, I don't know. I'd like to say I would like to go back and change and tell myself like, hey, don't care so much, or hey, you're gonna probably have to avoid this because you're gonna turn into manic meltdowns if you don't confront this or whatever, blah blah blah. I'd like to say I would go back and change that, but I don't know if I'd be as healthy of a person right now if I did, you know what I mean? Or I could be even healthier if I went back and did that. So that might be something I'd consider, but I would definitely go back and just do everything better, honestly. I would like from the start with music and movies and everything, just all my projects, I would take it all a little bit more slow. Everything I went through, I rushed through. Like everything. Like I did a movie called Bulls on Parade in 2018. It came out in 2020, but we did that in the summer of 2018, and I rushed it because we had a week to shoot, and everyone was going off to college, and I was like, okay, so how can... Oh yeah, and then Stetson and them were moving to LA, which they still live there, and I was like, okay, so I gotta get these people all in a movie before everyone goes to college in LA and whatever they do. So that's what I did, but I rushed it so much that the movie is unwatchable. Anybody out there that finds that movie, link to me, Bulls on Parade by Rhett Rhodes. It's on a channel called Visual Mafia. It's a decent movie, but I definitely rushed it. Like, I didn't have anything prepared. We didn't shoot anything. So like for the night sequences and things, the low light is terrible. We did not do any pre-shoots. We did not do any rehearsals. I wrote the script and literally, yes, wrote an actual script. I don't have it on me right now. I wish I did. It's at my parents' house up in the closet. This whole script, I printed it out, this one copy. Everyone stepped on it. They would just drop it in the dirt and step on the script, but then everyone would pick it up and be like, what do I say here? It was actually like the funniest experience to make a movie, because it was the most... We were all just so unprepared, and we looked more amateur than any amateur movie you can think of. I think we were the most amateur movie out there. Like, of all time. Like, anybody. Like, I've seen you put together music videos that were more professional than that movie was. Okay, and I was like 20 years old when I made that. No, I was turning 20. I was 19. But I was turning 20 that year, 2018. But no, I've seen like your music video for gosh, what was that song called?
Entourage Inc.
Yes, I was literally thinking of that exact one, because I was like, the one that ends with Inc. Yes, Entourage Inc. Like, the music video for that looked so professional. You know what I mean? So when I saw that, of course I was so jealous. I was like, How do you do that? I was like, dude, look at his
Yeah,
low
it was a lot
light.
of help from Cole Bowser. He's episode 8. Shout out to him. He directed
I
that
gotta
one.
get to that one. I heard a little bit of Garrett's episode that you just posted today. That one was really good. I'm gonna finish that one when we're done. So hell yeah. But yeah, no, that music video was great. So he did a great job. What was you said his name was? Cole Bowser. Cole Bowser. Yeah. Shout out to Cole Bowser because that video was fire. The low light looked great. There were so many things in that video, like just the steady shots. Oh my god. I was just like, is that the one? Maybe I'm wrong. Is that the one with everyone in the Jeep? Or the car?
That one's, that one was Group Strength. That was from the album. Yeah.
Anyway, that one was great too.
Yeah, no, that one was, that was taken by Cole as well. Also, that music video, I looked back at it yesterday.
Does he still do video
And I was like 40. He does do video work, yeah. He still does that. That's how we got together.
Okay, good. I was about to say, dude, he did such a good job with those music videos. I'm glad he's still doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. I look back at that music video, too. I was like 40 pounds heavier, too. So I looked completely different. I had acne all over my face. This would have been, I was 19, 18 when I did that. I was so radically different at the time.
Oh, yeah, everyone is. I mean, even, dude, I was even different last year. I was very different last year. Like, to now, very, very different. But, yeah, I'm like 40 pounds skinnier than, you know what I mean? Like, I hate it because I'm just, well, that comes from, I'm going to say this in the podcast because I don't care. I was pretty addicted to THC, like weed, like smoking weed. I was very addicted to that. That did not help my weight because I feel like not that I feel like, I think it's just it's a thing. It's the thing. When you like smoke a lot of weed and shit, like too much, like too much, you don't gain weight. You don't get the munchies, okay? You get like anti-munchies. You get like paranoid nervousness to where like I can't even eat because I'm so nervous right now because I just smoked so much today. I just smoked all day long. Like, because you know what I mean? Because I was doing like dab pens, things like that, but I'd also have like bong hits of like actual flower. So I was very addicted. Very unhealthy person. I'm still to this day trying, well, because I literally just stopped like last year, but trying to get my weight back up. I feel like I'm getting there. Definitely in my stomach area, which I was trying to avoid the stomach area weight, but hey, I'll get fat anywhere. I'll take it. Trust me. Anyone that's listening is like, why would you want to get fat? I don't know, but my brain just wants me to get 40 pounds heavier, like you just said. Like, I want to be 40 pounds heavier. You look good right now, but I'm just saying, like, I look terrible because I'm so skinny. I hate it. That's one of the things that bothers me, that I have like sort of a mental stigma on, is my skinniness. I hate it. So there's that. Anyone listening? Too skinny.
Yeah, of course, man. I would say it's an insecurity. I didn't understand insecurities when I was younger. Now I do. And for me to say that it's my biggest insecurity is it hurts a little bit, but it's also liberating to think about.
Is it okay if I hit the vape?
No, you're.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
I didn't know if that was allowed. Oh, we're not like video. This isn't like a video podcast, is it?
Yeah, right. It's just for communication.
Oh, crap. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
You're chilling.
My bad. I thought we were on video. Okay. So with this video call, it's just us. Just so we can see each other.
Right.
For people listening out there, I thought we were doing a video podcast right now. I was like, I look goofy this whole time. But anyway, go on. Sorry to interrupt you, Ethan. Like I said, this is the most annoying podcast you're going to have. I'm the most annoying guy. I'm so glad that you have me on.
No, you're not. You're good. You're good.
Terrible. I'm terrible.
No, it's all good. No, you're fine. I just did it because we have never actually talked face to face before like this. We've only had phone calls too.
Because I was weird. I was a nervous person. I would keep myself hidden all the time and be like, well, he would judge me if he saw this. He'd judge me if he saw that. I don't care anymore. I'm literally in the dungeon. I got guitars surrounding me right now, just because this is a little closet space I'm in. But I don't, you know what I mean? Like back then I cared too much. I'd be like, oh, if Ethan sees me in this little closet, he's just going to make fun of me for recording this in a little closet. But nowadays I'm like, why would he? Why the hell would he care? Like, we're getting the podcast done.
Yeah, bro, it looks like I'm in Squilliam Fancy Son's house right now, bro. Like, you can make fun of me for that too. There's paintings behind me. I'm in a library vestibule.
I didn't even consider that. That's hilarious.
I'm sitting at a desk right now that's like so wooden and probably was made when Benjamin Franklin was alive.
Oh, dude, he helped carve that thing. He chopped the tree down. Bro. That's the tree that George Washington chopped down.
Yeah, that's true. I do see like a signature there. Yeah, I think that's him.
Did you know that George Washington had wooden teeth? Did he actually? Or was that a myth?
I'm not sure. I did hear that a lot. That's why he didn't smile on the dollar bill.
Do we need to look into that and investigate?
I'm not sure.
That's what this podcast is about.
Maybe that should be your thing. Like instead of like golden teeth, like Mexican OT, you should just get like wooden teeth.
Yeah, that's gonna be the sideshow thing. It's gonna have the George Washington wooden grills. I'm gonna sell those.
Mm-hmm. That's a fashion line right there.
Unfitted, so everyone who gets a pair, it's not gonna fit them. It's just gonna fit me. Every single pair will fit me. So unless you have my exact teeth structure, you can't wear the sideshow wooden grills. The George Washingtons. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna call them the George Washies.
The washies, yes. Can I get this sideshow washies?
I need some of those sideshow washies right there, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, you got that up on pre-order, man.
We got to make some of those. 100%. After this podcast drops, we're gonna make sideshow washies. They're gonna be wooden teeth.
Awesome.
And you can drink.
Rhett,
Fanta
what's the advice that you give people in general before we close?
Oh god, dude, see, we're about to close, and I felt like I just talked your ear off, and this has been the worst podcast episode ever. We should do more so people can get to understand that I'm not like this all the time. This is this is just me on episode 1. I've never done a podcast. I've never gotten to do anything like this before. That's why I was so excited to kind of set this all up, although I did nap earlier and missed the initial phone call. So, but my advice out there is everyone be prepared. Don't take things too seriously, but be prepared. But no. But that is a big one. I would say my advice to everyone, besides being prepared for things is like, don't take things too seriously. Don't let things get to your head. You could I would say that, like, you probably will end up just as nervous and awkward and paranoid as I was and manic as I was if you let music get to your head as badly as I did. You know what I mean? So, anyone out there, mm-hmm. I'm not joking. Please have fun. Don't take things too seriously. Like, of course, like, people probably think like, okay, well, I want to make music. I want to make movies. So that means I have to try to find a way to make money off of this right now. This has to be my career right now. No. Okay? I think it needs to start off as a hobby. I don't think you need to, okay, if you have a job right now, collect all your money, okay? Put your money, you need to figure out financing first off. I feel like that's a big thing. Financing, mm-hmm. I think that's a great thing to invest in, people, is to pay attention in finance class in high school. Buy some books, read up on it, like my brothers are doing. They read up a lot about financing and how to keep your money in the right places. But I think if you want to make money, or if you want to make music and movies and things like that, I think you should have your money put in the right place for those ventures. Kind of like, I'm not even going to lie, you've kind of helped me see that a little bit with your traveling. Like, I see you on social media, you're like traveling, you went to Alaska, you're in Tennessee now, but you started in Ohio and you walked across the entire state of Ohio. And to me, it's like, man, this kid has no fear. Like, obviously you do, it's there, but in the back of your mind, you're so focused on your initiative that you took it and you went and you did it. You didn't even care. Like, you obviously had that fear, but you didn't care. You're like, whatever happens, happens. I'm going to walk across Ohio. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to make this podcast, and that inspired me a lot. I'm not even going to lie to you. So it helped me kind of see things for myself in a way, like, wow, if he's not taking things as serious as I was, then I see that as like a cool thing. He's steady rising with this thing. He's not just jumping full force into it and wanting to be the best or be the biggest right away. He's starting slow and having fun. And to me, that is super inspirational. So, yeah, if anyone's listening to this, be inspired by Ethan. Really, you should. If you're listening to this, I assume people out there are already inspired by you. If they aren't, they need to look into it a little deeper, because I have a horrible time traveling. I couldn't even make it to Arkansas from Oklahoma without having the worst car sickness from like nervousness ever. And to me, it wasn't even that far of a drive. It was like 7-8 hours. You know what I mean? 7-8 hours, I guess, is quite a lot, but it wasn't bad. It shouldn't have been that bad, but I made it bad. I made the whole trip bad. So that's another thing I'd say to people. Don't make things as bad as they need to be. If you are uncomfortable or don't like something, of course you need to address those things in the most respectful way possible, first off. You know what I mean? Do not do what I did when someone puts out a single art that has a crown on it, and you're like me and you're the king, and you think, oh, that's my thing, and have this weird stigma on crowns and things like that. Maybe address the situation calmly first and say, hey, have a conversation about it. Don't just freak out like I did. That's one thing that I feel like I worry about for a lot of people in my life. It's like, now that I'm calmer and I see things from a calmer perspective, I feel like a lot of people, a lot of people do, but there's a lot of people in my life right now that I feel like don't have that kind of control yet, like I didn't, you know what I mean? And I would just say, yeah, staying calm is one of the best things you can do. Just to, keep your blood pressure low. Do not freak out. Do not get that stressed. Like, nothing's that bad, you know what I mean? Like at work, if you're like, oh, they changed my schedule last second, and I had plans, do not make a big deal about it. You're probably going to lose your job. Everyone around you is going to not respect you anymore, because they're going to be like, okay, he's freaking out over a little schedule change. Like, instead of being calm and going directly and being like, okay, I had some plans this day. Is there any way we could work around this? You know what I mean? People need to not be like me. Be calm. I mean, I'm calm now, but for a long time there, I jumped straight to the worst conclusions. Do not do that. So my advice to everybody is, stay calm. Be inspired. Try to inspire people. Be inspired. Keep moving. Have fun. And don't take things too seriously, because you're going to crash and burn if you do. You know what I mean? Have fun. That's all I can say. So, I hope that means something.
Definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Sideshow the King's Total Carnage is out now, so I'd recommend y'all take a listen to that. I want to thank you, Rhett, for joining me. And we will, everybody, we will be back next week with a new guest. As Joey Diaz once said, stay black and stay awesome. I will see you all on the next one.
Yes, sir.